This is 360 Seconds News on Wider Media, and I'm Ohima Wider, reporting on the information reaching us from the Ministry of Communication. The Minister of Communication, Honorable Sam Nati George, who is also a member of Parliament for Ningu Pram, has announced his plans to curtail disinformation and misinformation, which has emerged as a huge problem in Ghana recently. Let's watch the video as the minister makes the announcement.
I am minded by the increased incidence of orchestrated campaigns of mis- and disinformation. I have instructed the Cybersecurity Authority to immediately improve its digital surveillance and monitoring. Several collaborative operations with sister security agencies have been undertaken, and as we speak, some are currently underway, to send a clear signal that such acts of public mis- and disinformation will not be tolerated. The government once again reiterates our respect for the freedom of expression and the rights to public and private communication of citizens, but also wishes to remind us all that we have a collective civic duty to be responsible in our communication. In the spirit of full transparency, I will present a specialized legislative document on misinformation and disinformation before Parliament to be passed into law in its next meeting, to create a clear legal framework for law enforcement. So notice is served. Once the law is passed, we will clamp down on you if you engage in mis- and disinformation.
The minister said, in a spirit of full transparency, law is needed. From here, all persons are advised to desist from misinformation and disinformation to avoid being at the wrong side of the law when passed. In other matters, the minister has strongly criticized the previous government's accusation of Airtel Tigo, now rebranded as 18, describing the move as ill-informed and reckless. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra on Wednesday 9th April, the minister condemned the reported $1 transaction used to acquire the company, calling it disingenuous and unpatriotic. Here is a video to that.
The telecom sector has not been without its challenges. The previous government acquired Airtel Tigo and rebranded it as AT with a reported purchase value of $1. Nothing could have been more disingenuous and unpatriotic. When the company was bought, its debt portfolio stood at $400 million, and its revenues could not meet its monthly overheads. The core and billing platforms have reached the end of life, and both Bharti Airtel and Millicom, which operated Tigo, had failed to make any meaningful investments in both companies over the preceding 5 years. The decision to step in at the time can best be described as ill-informed and reckless. It was an abdication of responsibility by the then administration and minister to the best interest of Ghana. Today, after a debt restructuring arrangement, the debt portfolio at 80 sits at about $200 million, rising every month as the company makes a monthly operating loss of 20 million Ghana cedis. The bleeding needs to be triaged, and urgent steps are underway to engage the company's creditors in negotiating haircuts to ensure the company's viability.
He reassured the public on government's commitment to establishing the company, protecting jobs, and ensuring its long-term survival. The minister further revealed that 13 people had been laid off when he took over office after a consultation with World Bank office in Accra, under the project implementation unit of the World Bank-funded Ghana Digital Acceleration Program to curb corruption in the ministry.
In line with the critical reforms necessary to reset the ministry when I took over, I took decisive steps in consultation with the World Bank Country Office in Accra to terminate the contracts of 13 staff under the project implementation unit of the World Bank-funded Ghana Digital Acceleration Program. This became necessary to show our zero level of tolerance for any semblance of graft or corruption in the ministry. These terminations were patriotic action aimed to save the state from any representation that affects our international image. The ministry has secured clearance from the World Bank to replace the terminated staff, and we have proceeded to advertise the roles in the national dailies for 2 weeks, which lapsed last Friday. The interview panel is conducting a robust competitive assessment to select the best suited candidates as replacements.
This is 360 Seconds News on Wider Media, and I am Wahima Wider. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section and share and like with your friends. Thank you.